Hello and welcome to Newsroom series live from the channel's television global headquarters here in Lagos, Nigeria. I'm Dominic Iwiwu, and today our focus will be on the northwestern region. But before we get into that, let's have a snippet of the top stories making rounds at the moment. The Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria has held all parameters after its May meeting. The CBN governor, Mr. Olaimi Cardoso, who made the announcement, says that all 12 members took the stance to retain the monetary policy rate at 27.50%, retain asymmetric corridor at plus 500 to 100 basis points, retain cash revenue ratio of deposit banks at 50%, while liquidity ratio is still at 30%. Mr. Cardoso says that considerations were given to the relative stable in Nigeria's macroeconomic indices and the uncertainty in the global markets following the ongoing trade tension in major economies. The Office of the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice has withdrawn the fiat on Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, purporting to prosecute a case against Chairman of Zynox Technologies, Mr. Leo Stan Ake, and 12 others. This is the second time such fiat has been withdrawn by the AGF in a case which has dragged for 13 years over a transaction between Citadel Oracle Concept Limited and Ibadan-based computer firm owned by an Enugu State indigent, Mr. Benjamin Joseph, and Technology Distribution Limited over the supply of computers to the Federal Inland Revenue Service. The project, in which Technology Distributions fully extended credits to Citadel, was said to have no bearing whatsoever with Zynox and its promoter, Mr. Leo Stan Ake. In the latest developments, the current Attorney General of the Federation, Mr. Lateef Fagbemi, directed a letter dated 2nd May 2025 addressed to the principal partner, Falana and Falana, to withdraw charge number FCT/HC/CR985-2024 between the Federal Republic of Nigeria versus Leo Stan and 12 others, in the interest of justice, signifying that the fiat ought not to have been donated to him in the first place. The Director of Public Prosecutions of the Federation conveyed the message of the withdrawal of the Chamber of Matthew Borka and Co., Chief Counsel to the defendants via a letter dated 6th May 2025. This latest development has put a closure to the case that had dragged for over a decade. We begin in Kaduna State, where the federal government, through the National Senior Secondary Education Commission, has flagged off a nationwide quality assurance monitoring and evaluation exercise for senior secondary schools across the country aimed at enhancing academic excellence. Speaking at the flag-off ceremony held at the Federal Government College, Malali in Kaduna State, the Executive Secretary of the Commission, Dr. Iyela Ajayi, says the exercise is a strategic step towards achieving desired learning outcomes in the nation's education sector.
In a bold step towards raising academic standards in Nigerian schools, the federal government, through the National Senior Secondary Education Commission, is carrying out a nationwide quality assurance monitoring and evaluation exercise for senior secondary schools. At the flag-off ceremony in Kaduna State, the Executive Secretary of the Commission, Dr. Iyela Ajayi, described the initiative as a strategic policy aimed at ensuring desired learning outcomes and addressing long-standing gaps in the education system.
The National Senior Secondary Education Commission, entrusted with the crucial responsibility of shaping the future of our nation's youth, recognizing the paramount importance of quality education. We are committed to ensuring that every senior secondary school in this country provide a conducive teaching and learning environment that fosters academic excellence, critical thinking, and the development of well-rounded individuals. The Commission has since developed the national minimum standards for senior secondary education in Nigeria, which serve as a benchmark for the operation of all senior secondary schools nationwide.
Each year, governments at both federal and state levels commit billions of naira to education, yet stakeholders say inadequate monitoring has hindered the evaluation of students' academic performance.
And the foresight and wisdom exhibited by the Executive Secretary and his team, National Secondary School Education Commission, in collaboration with the Ministry of Education and other stakeholders. Honestly, this is a very commendable effort to ensure not just monitoring and evaluation, effective monitoring and evaluation.
At the heart of the initiative is the development of a national minimum standard for senior secondary education, intended as a benchmark for schools nationwide.
I urge all the stakeholders to put all hands on deck so that at least the monitoring and evaluation should be of a form of formative or summative. And it should also be a form of summative, maybe at the end of session or at the end of every quarter of the year. We can come back together to assess what has been done within the period of assessment.
The team also visits selected secondary schools in Kaduna to assess compliance. Education authorities are hopeful that this exercise will serve as a critical turning point for Nigeria's secondary education system.
The federal government, through the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, is taking bold steps to curb youth unemployment by equipping young Nigerians with practical vocational skills for self-sustainability and entrepreneurship. As part of President Bola Tinubu's Renewed Hope agenda, a new program titled Skills to Wealth has trained 189 youths from the Northwest Zone in Kaduna State.
To address this, the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction rolled out a comprehensive skills training program in strategic sectors, including agriculture, renewable energy, and automobile repairs. The initiative is being carried out nationwide across all 6 geopolitical zones.
This program is aimed at bringing in a chunk of our youth from the unemployment market to a more sustainable future by teaching them, reprogramming them, coaching them on hand skills, so that instead of wanting to be employed, they end up being employers of labor. We are doing it in the agricultural sector, modern farming system. We are doing it in the auto mechanic, not the other one that you will be beating about the bush, no, with gadgets that you will know what exactly is wrong with the vehicle. We are doing it in the renewable energy sector, like the solar system. That is the end thing now in the 21st century, and Nigeria must also imbibe. You know, the president is forward-thinking.
A total of 189 participants from the Northwest Zone converged in Kano for the 3-week training session aimed at building technical competence and business readiness.
At this point, we have 189 participants, and this is equitably drawn across the Northwest Zone. So this is Northwest Zone Center. We have other centers across the geopolitical zones.
Beneficiaries have hailed the initiative, describing it as timely intervention that will open doors to self-employment and income generation.
From the name of it, actually, it shows that it will definitely help me in person. Financially, it will help me with a lot of incomes, and it will also help the people around me.
We learn a lot of things, especially how to conserve our seed, how to conserve our product, and generally from the day we are starting this training, we know how to culture our soils.
I learned so many things in auto mechanic, like how to operate a car, how to assemble it.
The federal government says the initiative is designed to transform young Nigerians into skilled professionals employers of labor, and contributors to national development.
Staying in Kaduna State, Agadez Transboundary Corridor is taking center stage as stakeholders in the sub-region have met to deliberate on the strategic spatial action plan and create development opportunities through market expansions, promote ecotourism, security, climate change, and sustainability. The workshop is supported by the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, UN Habitat, and professionals on land matters and environment across the geopolitical zone, marks a significant step towards achieving sustainability and resilience in the region. Channel's correspondent Nanchin Vincent brings us this report.
Stakeholders in the Agadez Transboundary Corridor are meeting in Kaduna State to develop modalities that will lead to a strategic spatial plan to make it a thriving cross-border development zone. If properly promoted and executed, the Agadez Corridor, which stretches from northern Nigeria into Niger Republic, will create opportunities for improvement in trade, regional integration, and lasting peace.
For a metropolis like Kano, where you see how it is growing, and it's a sign, or let's say warning, that if we do not intervene now and try to manage the urbanization, plan for it, we might end up in having a real crisis in our hands. So the data and the analysis gives us the evidence and the suggestions on how to plan better, but also as we make investments, whether from the national, state or local government, how can it contribute to doing it in a way that we do not increase the vulnerability of the people, but we are also helping to achieve the development goals.
It is expected that the validated outcomes will be a roadmap for sustainable development and resilience in the region, aligning with the Sahel project objectives.
Nobody can develop in isolation, so we must have a regional approach to most of these issues, whether it is issue of trade, whether it is issue of addressing security challenges, whether it is issue of agricultural development, economic activities, social development, and what have you. We must have a regional approach to it.
The advantage is that when you look at the way national government and international communities are worried about the way people migrate to urban areas. If you look at the projections, actually it's frightening. So by coming up with this initiative, it is a good way and the best way to minimize rural-urban migration and also to uplift the standard of the people and you make wise utilization of the resources available in the region.
The full realization of the Spatial Action Plan can only come to bear with the completion of the link between the two countries, positioning the corridor as a logistics gateway within West Africa. From Kano Commercial City, Nanchin Vincent, Channels Television News.
Now to some technology development. Katsina State is gearing up to welcome at least 10,000 technology investors and initiators from across the country as it prepares to host the highly anticipated Arewa Tech Fest 2.0, scheduled to take place from May 20th to 22nd, 2025 at the Continental Event Center of Katsina Road, Ring Road. The festival promises to be a game changer for the state and the entire region, building on the resounding success of its inaugural edition held in Kano State last year. The second edition of the festival aims to triple its impact in Katsina, with stakeholders working tirelessly to ensure that the event exceeds expectations. With a focus on transforming Katsina from an analog to a digital state, the festival seeks to harness the power of technology to drive economic growth, address socio-economic challenges, and enhance security in the state.
And Arewa Technology Festival is going to encompass all. I'm sure some of us are aware of the tremendous progress and achievement we are receiving since the inauguration of this government. Malam Duko Umar Rada is out to transform Katsina from an analog state to a digital one. And we have seen these footprints everywhere. We have seen the work that's being done to make Katsina a technology-driven economy, an economy that will align with what is expected in the whole world. We will have young people who are talented from Africa and from northern Nigeria particularly, up to about 10,000 people coming as either investors or initiators of technology. Investors in technology or initiators in technology. We expect about 10,000 people to start coming in from today.
State House of Assembly Mohammed Usman has expressed concern over the poor telecommunication services in Zuru local government area and its environs. He voiced his displeasure during a meeting with officials of telecommunication companies held in his office in Kebbi State. The speaker noted that for over 2 years, Zuru has been grappling with network connectivity issues, which have continued to hamper the socio-economic development of the area. In response, the telecommunications officials assured him that necessary steps would be taken to address the problem.
The current challenges being experienced in Zuru are therefore not just technical in nature, but are also holding back growth and development in the region. We also recognize tremendous role the MTN has played in expanding telecommunication services across Nigeria. So we appreciate and we acknowledge, and we do not underestimate the challenges your team may face in this regard. However, we believe that with strategic planning, commitment, and collaboration, significant improvement can be made in Zuru. When you collaborate, maybe you make your commitment. For the commissioner made mention 2 years. It's more than 2 years now that we have been experiencing this epileptic network services. Today, we seek genuine partnership to ask MTN to prioritize the upgrade, expansion, and repairs of its infrastructure in Zuru Emirate.
Now to politics. In Kebbi State, the Congress for Progressive Change bloc within the All Progressives Congress has publicly disassociated itself from the political actions of former Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami. The bloc has instead reaffirmed its unwavering support for Governor Nasir Idris and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Key stakeholders of the former Congress for Progressive Change bloc gather at the banquet hall of the Presidential Lodge in Birnin Kebbi to set the record straight on recent political alignments in the state. The meeting was convened in reaction to political activities linked to the former Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, whom the bloc claims no longer represents their interests.
If you look at the leadership of Dr. Nasir Idris he brought a lot of achievement and progress to the people of Kebbi State.
According to the CPC leaders, loyalty to the APC, Governor Nasir Idris and President Bola Tinubu remains unshaken.
It is our own effort, collective effort, the people you see around here. It is our collective effort to make CPC, and it is our own effort to succeed in the CPC, so much so that we become the most greater party in the merger. So I don't think it is relevant, it is good for anybody to come and say he is going to claim CPC. CPC is no more.
They criticized the former AGF for prioritizing personal interests over the collective ideals of the CPC during his time in office. Responding to the show of support, Governor Nasir Idris describes Kebbi as an APC stronghold and welcomes the CPC bloc's position as a significant boost for party unity.
The organizers of this occasion are people that came from CPC to APC. All the chairmen are seated here. And some of them are having positions, key positions in the APC-led government in Kaduna State. So nobody should deceive anybody. People of Kaduna State are also very happy because the impression that some people are portraying, now it has clearly shown that division is not there. So like I said, nobody should deceive anybody. Our administration has done well, and the people have acknowledged that.
The CPC bloc statement is seen as a move that eases recent political tension and solidifies the APC's dominance in the state.
The Emir of Dara, Alhaji Umar Farouk Umar, has taken the decisive step in addressing allegations of abuse of power and misconduct within his emirate by dethroning Ilea Mantwao as the village head of Mantwao in Yamaulu Ward, Baure local government area of Katsina State. Effective from Monday, May 19, 2025, Mantwao's removal follows a series of complaints from residents of Yaram Ulu, which led to a youth-led protest last week. The protesters accused Mantwao of playing a role in the abduction of a married woman and her infant child who was reportedly raped after a 20 million naira ransom was paid. The incident, which occurred almost a year ago, sparked public concern over the Emirate Council's delay in taking action despite the matter being in court. In announcing Mantwao's removal, the Emir emphasized the Emirates' commitment to transparency, justice, and protecting the rights of its citizens, while also warning against spreading unformed rumors and encouraging the public to channel their grievances through appropriate legal procedures. Now, as part of its implementation strategy for the Zamfara State Agroclimatic Resilience in Semi-Arid Landscapes project, the focal non-governmental organization, HESCO, has trained Zamfara communities on gender awareness, gender-based violence, and prevention of sexual exploitation and abuse. Participants at the event include members of local government project implementation committees, community interest groups, farmers, religious and traditional leaders, youths and representatives of various community associations. The objective of the workshop was to educate and sensitize community members on the critical importance of gender equity, the prevention of GBV, and the promotion of PSEA practices.
The essence of today's training is to mobilize and sensitize the stakeholders on gender-based violence. The take-home of the participants should be whatever they learn here, let them cascade it to the larger community where they came from, because gender-based violence is a general issue that is affecting the general population. So let them know the gender-based violence is an issue that need to collaborate and also work together in order to address this issue.
And that's where we draw the curtains on this edition of Newsroom series. I'm Dominic Iwiwu. Enjoy the rest of your day.